All right, good morning, guys. Welcome into the video. But here's the trade right now. Really beautiful trade. Um, yeah, just notice how this fair value gap here became a breakaway gap. I bought one contract here at as soon as we came back into the inverse. But if we come back down and tap and mitigate this 1 minute right here that I'm gonna mark out, I would be interested in adding more. The only thing I'm looking at is we do have a 5 minute gap here that we're coming off of, but we're about to inverse it in one. Oh, there it is. If we come back down here, mitigate this, I would definitely be interested in adding more. Um, but yeah, just trying to keep it nice and easy. I'm just targeting the 5 minute right here. If I can get filled in for more, I'll take off two contracts here and then let one run. Let's see if we can get up into these relative highs. I do think we get all the way up here, but my main target is going to be this high, which is already a 2.5 R, and I'm content with that. But we'll see. All right. We'll see. Every sign is there for this trade to work out. All PDRAs are being respected. A pullback is okay because we would also be coming into this 2 minute, right? Inverse. And we have the order block support here. I love this beautiful reaction. Beautiful reaction. And this 1 minute is unmitigated. So, yeah. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get a yogurt and I'm just gonna let this play out. I'm gonna just put an alert here. And it looks like we will get filled in for those two, hopefully. On my top step accounts, let me see. Yeah, that 1 minute gap looks good. You see, these are the type of trades I don't mind losing on because look at this reaction here. Very nice, very clean. And then we have a continuation, and I'm bullish today, right? Everything is stemming from the fact that we have SMT on the higher time frame, and then we put this internal SMT here, right? We just place higher. I noticed this trade here. If we go to the regular ES contract, it did inverse it here, but I didn't take this trade because I'd rather wait for my model to present itself, and this is perfectly it. So at this point, all you do is just trust your model, and whatever the result is, that's just the probability of it working out or not. There's no such thing as a guaranteed win, but based on all your backtesting and all your studying, you should know if this is likely to be a win or a loser. And I do think this is likely to be a win, right? So that we're filled in for our last two cons, and now we just simply wait. So beautiful. So this is going to be a really nice trade, right? So I'll be right back. We'll see in a few minutes, winner or loser on this one. Let's see. Camera fade. All right, guys, I'm back. So in drawdown right now, but okay, this is why we give it some room to breathe. If I go back to the 5 minute, I'm also looking at the 50% of this wick, right? I want to see how we react here, but it's not looking too good. So again, this is a really good trade in my opinion. I do like this trade, but if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Just gotta let it do its thing. There's really nothing you can do. You try to manually intervene, and then it works out, and then that does more damage to your mental, messes up your statistics. You just gotta let it work out, or not, right? So again, this was another trade here that looked really nice, but I just wasn't gonna take this. But we had the relative highs here. We did inverse. We had an SMT, and ES seemed to be moving a lot better than NQ, right? But I'm taking this one on NQ because NQ has retraced deeply, had a really nice reaction here, and then we inversed the next candle. We just had this unmitigated PD right here to come and mitigate, and then see if we can pump up higher. But what would suck is if we do get stopped out here, and then that becomes an SMT with ES, and then we pump up higher. But hey, we just gotta let the trade do its thing. Literally like a point away from getting stopped out. Yep. And after this trade, I'll just be done for the day. Win or lose. So what I mean by an SMT would be if we sweep this low, these lows on NQ, and then we don't sweep these lows on ES, and then NQ starts pumping higher. There's a possibility for a re-entry here, but it would have to be really clear like this, right? That's the only way I can get back into this trade with the same context. But other than that, if it just stops out, then it is what it is. There it is. So we tap those lows. We'll see if we get what we said we would do and get some type of re-entry here. If not, then we're pretty much just done for the day. Notice how ES also took those lows, so that idea is off the table. Right. That idea is off the table. Let me see. No. Again, this trade is beautiful. I like it a lot. I think it's pretty obvious, pretty clean. Right, it just didn't work out. And we've also engineered high, 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 high to come down and then displace. But yes, inversed it. NQ did not. Right. I'm just gonna stay on a little bit longer to see what we do off this 5-minute gap. Because my expectation was that we at least make it up into this 5-minute unmitigated gap before heading lower. That's why I was willing to punch and give 2 more contracts here to then take off 2 here and leave 1 runner to see if we can get up into these relative highs, right? But Yeah, it looks like we're not. And there really wasn't anything stopping it here to go higher. So I still think we go higher. I just, it's unfortunate we got stopped out first. Because the only other target is if we come for these relative lows, which is this low with, let's go to the hourly, it's cleaner. Not even relative, but these lows here, right? So if we get a really big displacement, close above here, obvious entry would be in the 1 minute. Hopefully the sound isn't weird. I have a little fan on, but we get a 1 minute fair value gap here, possibility for re-entry, and then I would have to just do, just 2 micros, 2 contracts. So again, we're continuing to hold a bullish bias, and we want to see an expansion out of this 5. We did get a nice reaction here, confirmed us our entry, and we took it, right? Started working out really nicely. And then I was willing to add more once we came into this unmitigated PD array. Notice how all these PD arrays were inversed. So this is pretty much giving you the telltale sign, yes, this is going to go higher. But we came down, we swept one more time inside of 5, and now we're displacing higher. So, yeah, I would honestly be interested in re-entering this, even though we didn't do the SMT play that I was talking about. But because we swept on both indices and we're still holding this 5, and it's a very clear entry, it's a clear re-entry for you to go long. Because there'll be days where I'm like, okay, that's it, and I just call it a day. But this happens relatively frequently, where there'll be a sweep and then there'll be the clear expansion. And now, where are we expanding above? Here. So I really do like that. Let me see how we close here in the next 30 seconds, and then I'll probably take an entry here. But I need to make sure it makes sense. 1 to 2 would be, see, the risk reward gets a little bit skewed there. 1 to 2 would be all the way up here. Now we need to target at least a 1 to 2. Yeah, I would have to target the highs. Let me see how the solid closure. I'll buy 1 here. Oh shoot, I bought 3. Hold on. Let me sell. Just leave it, I guess. But that's horrible. I bought 3. Yeah, I bought 3 on accident. It is what it is. This is the re-entry opportunity here. The risk is a little great, but it's not too bad. 3 micros. 1 to 2. Actually, since I did buy 2, I'll just take off 2 once we hit the 5-minute gap. Here. Sell 3 limit. No. Let's do sell 2 limit. So again, this is a very clear re-entry for me, right? Off this gap here. Very clear re-entry. So 1-to-1. 1-to-1. So I wouldn't consider this a second trade because it's the same exact context and everything. So that's why I would take it again, because we were trading within that same idea, right? Nothing's changed. It's just that we got swept out and now the trade is going. So I would like to see this met. And the reason why my stop's all the way down here is because I got to allow room for these two gaps here to get mitigated if needed, right? But I would expect us to stay above the CE there and see a nice reaction here at the 25% quartile. But we'll see. Again, we wanted to see a closure above here. We got our closure above here. So now I would expect this candle to act as our breaker. We have our order block here, change in the state of delivery. And yeah, we can wick down into this area, which would also mitigate those gaps. And my targets are here. Why here? Because these are all relative to each other, right? And we haven't swept those highs. And we've displaced lower to just, induce people into going short. Now, I do want to take a partial here at the 1-to-1 or here at the gap. So we'll just see when we get there. Before right now, let me add my stop there. So then confirm. And I'll be right back. Let's see. We'll get some water and good stuff. So I'm gonna just let this trade play out. Again, our target is up here. I want to see how we react when we get here. And same thing with the ES. Right, we have a 4-hour unmitigated at this high. That would be this high over here. These highs. So we want to see NQ start pushing as well. Notice how ES left a 5-minute gap here. And NQ did not. Okay. I would expect this 5-minute to hold here on ES, and then these to hold here on NQ. And that way we can start pushing higher. We're engineering a lot of buy side, buy side, buy side, buy side. So when the run happens, it'll be rather quick. Just got to be patient. It's a lot of interest for the market to go up into this area. A lot of interest. So that's why I'm basing this trade off of. And that's the idea. After being swept out here, again, we got a clear re-entry right after, almost immediately. So therefore, I re-enter on that trade. Right? I'm trying not to, in many cases, I would be done and I would just be like fearful of this. Like, oh, I just got stopped out. And then I come back later and I back test it and I see this. Boom, just runs up. And that would, like I would back test and I would just tell myself, oh, well, next time this happens, I want to be, what am I looking for? What kind of signatures? These right here, these clear re-entries, right? That if In most cases, they do win, but if they lose, it's okay because this is what you've also back tested to get potential reentries and not miss out on the opportunity when market just simply has taken you out on a sweep and then proceeds to run higher, right? So, yeah. So just wait, just let it do its thing. Remember, now we're coming into the first presented order block here after the change in the state. I want to see how the next 2 minutes closes. And yeah, but I'm just gonna let this play out. I'll be back to check on it in a little bit. And yeah. All right. Wow. So this is taking forever. It's taking forever. Right. So yeah, this looks pretty cooked overall. I mean, we have the 5-minute order block that's still holding price, right? Right here. You can see that the mean threshold has been respected, but it's not continuing to follow through. So yeah, this looks pretty cooked. But again, it's really not over till it's over. These relative lows now, in my eyes, look like something that is likely to be purged, and then we hit higher. But I'm not gonna give it a third shot. That's it. You know, we went ahead and gave it a second shot because the same exact setup presented itself and the same structure. So now at this point, it's just letting it play out. If it plays out, amazing. If it doesn't, then it is what it is. All right, we move on to the next day. But yeah, so I think what we could have done better in this trade is just added our 1 micro, and then we could have added once we came into like a really deep discount. If we did, right? We could have added once we came into a deep discount, which would have been around this level. Maybe added here and would have had a lot better of a risk to reward and a lot better feel. So this was a mistake we definitely made, adding 3 up here, 3 contracts here, rather than waiting and adding 1. So I unfortunately didn't change the amount here, and I just bought, and it added filled me in for 3. So my mistake, but it is what it is. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, and if we zoom out, look at the 5-minute. Like this looks pretty bad, right? Pretty choppy day. We're not showing any signs of moving up. You know, we give it a shot when it is presented. More than likely, when we have conditions like this, PM session will present a nice opportunity. But of course, we're done for the day. We're not going to try to push it more. So there's the stop out here. No. And then just when it takes so long to stop the output, it's just very annoying as well. So there's the trades for today. Raw footage of it, everything. Like it was a losing day. We got about almost an hour of this. But now what would really suck is if we just continue to displace higher, and then we actually, this is the one that actually works and goes higher. Now that we swept this, but there's no way I get back into this. It's just very ugly. Zooming on the 5-minute, it's just unfortunate none of these setups worked out, because I had a lot of confidence in them, right? So now we just come back later and back test and see what happened in the day. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.